And welcome back, students, as we discuss the file class. All right, so let's talk about how to program with said file class. So getting started. In this lesson, we're going to describe the class file, which technically is not really an I/O stream class, but is often used in conjunction with file I/O. Now, the class file is so important to file I/O programming that it is actually placed inside the java.io package. Now, the class file contains methods that allow you to check various properties of a file, such as whether it's a file with a specified name, whether the file can be written to, and so forth. The file class demo gives an example program that uses the class file with text files. Now, the class file works the same with binary files as it technically does with text files. You'll also note that when we look at this program that the file class constructor takes name, which is known as the abstract name, as a string argument. So let's just pop over there real quick. And you can see in here we're importing scanner, file, print writer, output string, file not bound. All right, so we have our scanner object, we have a string line null, file name is null. It says I will store a line for text view into line of text. All right in here it's going to read in that line. It's going to enter a file name to the line. You're going to enter the file name, and then it's going to create this file object here. All right, you'll notice down here it says if it exists. Say there's already a file name with it, pretty much asking for a new name. Then, since the output string is null, does a try catch block to attempt to write to the file. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue here. If you look at what this is doing, the file class is really checking the property of names. So, for example, the method exists tests whether there's a file with the abstract name. Or the abstract name may be a potential directory or folder name. So, for example, the method is directory tests whether the abstract name is the name of a directory or folder. Now, the abstract name may be either a relevant path name, which includes the case of a simple file name, or a full path name. So, let's just talk about the file class here, and then I'll give a quick demo of it. The file class is like a wrapper class for that of file names. The constructor for the class file takes a string as an argument and produces an object that can be thought of as the file with that name. So, if you put in say text.txt. Text is going to be the name of the file. You can use the file object and methods of the class file to answer questions such as following. Does the file exist? Does your program have permission to read the file? Does your program have permission to write to the file? So basic permissions, it's what it's going to check for. A quick example is file object equals new file data.txt. If a file object can't read, you notice it has the not indicator here, so that means that it cannot read. You're just going to come back and say that the data is not reachable. So I'm just going to run this example program here, which simply just the writing to the file. Okay. So enter the line text. I'm just going to say hello universe. All right. So enter a file name to hold the line. I'm just going to put any kind of thing, so I could just say output.txt. Writing hello universe to the file output.txt, writing completed. And that's all let's do it. Alright, now let's just quickly discuss those methods of the file class so you'll have them for your disposal. So the first one is the public boolean can read, which simply just tests whether the program can read from the file. Returns true the file named by the abstract path name exists and is readable by the program, otherwise it's false. Very self-explanatory. Set read only is a permission change, so it sets the file represented by the abstract path name to be read only. This returns true if successful, otherwise it returns false. What read only means is that the program, pretty much like once you make that file read only, it's not going to be editable. So you can't go and write, like for example, new text to it. It's read only. It doesn't have write permissions anymore. All right, public boolean can write tests whether the program can write to the file. Returns true if it's named by the abstract path exists and is writable by the program. Otherwise false. You're going to start to notice a couple patterns here with these booleans. And then we'll also have the option to delete, which is pretty self-explanatory. It allows the test to see if it can be deleted. All right. We also have the option for create new file, throws IO exception. This creates a new empty file named by the abstract path name, provided that the file that name does not already exist. Returns true is successful. Returns false otherwise. We also have public string get name, which will return the last name in the abstract path name, that is the simple file name, so like sample.txt. Returns the empty string if the abstract path name is the empty string. And then of course we have get path, which just gets the abstract path name. We have the public void rename to, so they're simply just going to rename a file to the new name. We also have the is file, so it returns true if a file exists that is named by the abstract path name and the file is a normal file. Alright. So the meaning of normal, though, if you notice in here, is it's system dependent. Any file created by a Java program, for our purposes, is guaranteed to be normal. And we also, lastly, we have is directory. So this is going to return true if a directory or a folder exists that is named with the abstract path name. Otherwise, it returns false. So this is how you can check for those folders, not just a file. All right, and then of course we have the option to make a directory. So this makes a directory, return the abstract path name, which will not create parent directories. All right. And of course, as we said, return true is successful, others return false. And our last ones here, make directories, which is the directory name with the abstract path name will create any necessary but non-existent parent directories. And then we have public long length, which is the length of bytes of the file named by the abstract path name. All right, so some of those methods you might use, some you might not, but that's a kind of quick and dirty of the file class here. We'll play around with it a little bit, but otherwise there's not really that much to it. So until the next time.